it's exciting. You know, Terence is freakishly strong. He can punch. He's got good crack. He can fight from both ways. Orthodox southpaw. He can fight at mid range, close range, outside, and he can fight going both ways. So
Terence Crawford is on a mission, and the boxing world is paying close attention. His upcoming fight with Canelo Alvarez in September 2025 is one of the most anticipated matchups in recent memory. While many people see Crawford as the underdog due to his size, there are plenty of boxing experts who believe he can pull off a victory.
I think that Crawford could beat him because Crawford is a big 147 fighter and is strong as well, which a lot of people don't give him the credit for.
His career at a much lower weight class than Canelo, and Canelo is a natural super middleweight. Still, those who know boxing, especially pros who have fought at the highest level, see Crawford's skill as the deciding factor. One of those people is Spence, who knows just how dangerous Crawford can be.
I'll be going for Bud. You know, if he fight Canelo.
You got Crawford over Bud? I mean, you got Crawford over Canelo? Sorry.
I'll be going for him. I'll be going for him.
Crawford in July 2023 in a historic bout for the undisputed welterweight championship. It was the first time the welterweight division had seen an undisputed champion in the four-belt era, and both fighters came in with high expectations. Fans expected a competitive back-and-forth battle, but when the bell rang, Crawford quickly took control. His sharp punches, perfect timing, and relentless pressure overwhelmed Spence. Crawford's performance was flawless. He didn't just beat Spence, he dominated him. By the 9th round, Crawford had stopped Spence and captured all 4 welterweight belts. It was one of the most impressive performances in boxing history. After feeling the full force of Crawford's skills, Spence now knows exactly what Canelo Alvarez is in for. When asked about the Crawford versus Canelo fight, Spence gave Crawford his full support. "I'll be going for Bud if he fights Canelo," Spence told Fight Hub TV. "I don't know if he's going to win or lose, but I'll definitely be going for Crawford. I think if anybody can pull it off, he can pull it off." Spence also pointed out that Crawford is chasing greatness. He noted that Canelo moved up to light heavyweight to face Sergey Kovalev and Dmitry Bivol. So if Canelo could step up in weight, why couldn't Crawford? He's chasing greatness. So why not? Canelo went up to 175 and fought Kovalev, and fought the other guy Bivol too, so if he can do it. And he started at 147, then why can't Bud do it? Spence said.
Does beat Canelo. Terence does beat Canelo. Terence does prove that he's a better fighter than him. Now, whose era it was, it's kind of hard to do that for Bud because obviously Canelo was on top of the sport much longer. He was able to get any fight that he was.
Passion and drive are unmatched, and they are a big reason why many pros believe he can win. While size and strength are important in boxing, skill, strategy, and determination can often tip the scales. Crawford's ability to adapt and outthink his opponents is what makes him so dangerous. Canelo, however, is not an easy opponent. He's one of the most experienced and successful fighters of his generation. He's fought and beaten legends like Gennady Golovkin and Sergey Kovalev. He's also known for his devastating body punches and ability to counter with power shots. If Crawford doesn't stay sharp, Canelo could wear him down with body shots and finish him with a knockout.
I don't think it's a fight Canelo really wants, if I'm honest, because I think he feels like he won't get a lot of credit beating a light middleweight. And Crawford's going to move a lot in that fight, which is not ideal for Canelo.
It became even more after Canelo signed a 4-fight deal that runs from May 2025 to October 2026. One of those fights will be the highly anticipated showdown with Crawford in Las Vegas. Before that fight, Canelo is set to face IF champion William Skull on May 3, 2025 in Riyadh. This fight will be for the undisputed super middleweight championship, with both fighters putting their belts on the line. William Skull may not be as well as Canelo, but he is a dangerous fighter. The Cuban-German boxer is undefeated with a 23-0 record and has held the IF super middleweight title since last year. Skull turned pro in 2016 and started his career with a knockout win over Gaston Dario Avalos. He has since defended his title successfully and shown that he is a tough, well-rounded fighter. Canelo will have to be at his best to beat Skull and stay on track for his fight with Crawford.
My Cuban language, the size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this.
Meanwhile, is watching closely. He recently sent a clear message to Canelo. "Good luck, Canelo, in your next fight. I'm looking forward to becoming a 3-time undisputed champion." Crawford's goal is simple. He wants to make history by becoming the only male boxer to hold undisputed titles in 3 weight classes. That's a nearly impossible feat. But Crawford has made a career out of doing the impossible. The weight difference between Canelo and Crawford has been a major topic of discussion. Canelo is a natural super middleweight and has fought as high as light heavyweight. Crawford, on the other hand, only recently moved up to welterweight. The size and strength difference could play a significant role in the fight, and many fans are siding with Canelo for this reason. However, the pros who have seen Crawford up close believe in his skill and determination. Terence is not a regular guy, you know what I'm saying. He's special and Canelo, he's a top-notch fighter, world-class fighter. Still on the pound list, I'm sure towards somewhere near the top, and it's exciting. Terence is freakishly strong. Crawford's versatility is one of his greatest strengths. He's known for switching stances and adjusting his game plan on the fly. Against Errol Spence, he started in a southpaw stance and used it to control the distance and land clean shots. He also has a high boxing IQ and can read his opponent's moves before they happen. This ability to adapt and think several steps ahead could be the key to beating Canelo. Canelo, on the other hand, is known for his powerful counterpunching and relentless body attacks. He's a master at breaking down his opponents over several rounds and landing a finishing shot when they're exhausted. If Crawford isn't careful, Canelo could do just that. Him and Crawford accept to fight in Saudi Arabia, the big fight. But we as a real seasoned know how big this fight. Mike Tyson has always been known for his raw honesty and sharp boxing insight. And when it comes to Terence Crawford's fight against Canelo Alvarez, he's not holding back. Tyson didn't mince words on his It Is What It Is podcasts, saying he doesn't like the fight due to the weight difference. I don't like that fight, too much weight, Tyson said, clearly concerned about how Crawford might handle Canelo's natural size advantage. Tyson specifically mentioned Crawford's previous battle with Israel Madaffa fight, where Crawford faced some difficulty dealing with Madramov's size and awkward style. Although Crawford won, Tyson believes that those same challenges will only get worse when he steps into the ring with a much stronger, more experienced fighter like Canelo. For Tyson, size matters a lot when 2 elite boxers meet at the highest level. It's not just about punching power, it's also about how well a smaller fighter can withstand a larger opponent's constant pressure and physicality. Maxed if he accepts. I think Canelo wins that 5 based on just the size, no power and size. Now, however, Tyson didn't completely count Crawford out. His main point was that if Crawford can somehow overcome the weight difference, he would be a serious threat to Canelo. Tyson made it clear that Crawford's skills are undeniable, saying Canelo might be stepping in the ring with a beast. In other words, if the size factor doesn't play a major role in the fight, Tyson thinks Crawford's talent and aggression could overwhelm Canelo. Tyson is no stranger to witnessing fighters push past size limitations in his own career. He defeated plenty of taller, heavier heavyweights with sheer speed, power, and precision. So when he warns about the dangers of size, it's coming from personal experience. Yet, Tyson has also seen fighters pro size isn't everything when their skill levels are exceptional, and that's why he left the door open for Crawford to surprise the world. I think a lot of Canelo fans, for some reason, they know that there's no excuse if he loses to Bud. This is a huge mark on his resume. If he beats Bud, he does beat a very accomplished fighter in this but there's no ready-made excuses in this fight. Meanwhile, boxing commentator Showbiz the Adult has been vocal about the fight as well. Showbiz was initially a doubter when the matchup was first announced. His main concern was that Crawford doesn't have the same defensive style as Floyd Mayweather, who famously defeated Canelo Alvarez in 2013. Showbiz pointed out that Crawford tends to get hit more often because he takes risks and is more aggressive, whereas Mayweather relied on elusive defense and counter-punching. In Showbiz's eyes, this difference could spell trouble for Crawford. If Canelo lands too many clean shots, let me tell you what I think should be gone. The notion that Terence Bud Crawford should move up 3 weight classes 21 olbs to fight Canelo Alvarez. He's entirely too small. Jamal Charlo already proved that, but Showbiz recently changed his stance after taking a deeper look at how Canelo performs under certain conditions. He noted that Canelo struggles when forced to fight while moving backward. 2 fights in particular stood out to Showbiz: Canelo's loss to Floyd Mayweather and his more recent defeat to Dimitri Ball. Both Mayweather and Ball used footwork and pressure to keep Canelo on his back foot, and as a result, Canelo wasn't able to unleash his full power or find his rhythm. Showbiz now believes Crawford could use a similar strategy to beat Canelo. Terence Crawford, his name keeps coming up, and I know he's a lot smaller than you. Is that a fight that you would ever consider under any circumstance? I always say a fight makes sense. One key move Showbiz highlighted was Crawford's ability to use a body jab. In past fights, Crawford has been known to land sharp jabs to his opponent's midsections, slowing them down and forcing them to lower their guard. If Crawford can land consistent body jabs early on, it could tire Canelo out and make him more vulnerable to bigger shots later in the fight. Showbiz also talked about how Crawford's southpaw stance could create problems for Canelo. While Canelo has faced southpaws before, none of them have had Crawford's combination of speed, power, and intelligence. Crawford's ability to switch stances during a fight is another weapon that could confuse Canelo and keep him guessing. Canelo versus Crawford, the biggest fight in the game. Yes, yeah. I mean, like when you're looking at Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis. This is the next thing. Beyond that, another factor Showbiz mentioned was Canelo's tendency to fade in the later rounds. In several recent fights, Canelo's stamina seemed to drop after the 6th or 7th round, giving his opponents an opening to take control. Crawford, on the other hand, is known for getting stronger as the fight goes on. Showbiz believes that if Crawford can survive the early rounds and stay out of trouble, he could take over in the later rounds and win either by decision or even a late stoppage. Both Tyson and Showbiz agree on one thing: Crawford is walking a fine line with this fight. The weight difference is real, and Canelo's power is nothing to take lightly. But if Crawford can use his intelligence, athleticism, and adaptability to neutralize Canelo's strengths, he has a legitimate shot at pulling off one of the biggest upsets in boxing history. Tyson's respect for Crawford's heart and skill is clear. He knows the fight is risky, but he also knows that Crawford is no ordinary fighter. If anyone could overcome the odds, it's Crawford. And for Showbiz, the key lies in the game plan. If Crawford can stick to a strategy that exploits Canelo's weaknesses, we could see a historic night in Las Vegas. I think he wants to make history. It's a big fight. Well, that's to make history is worth doing it. Yeah. I think he wants to. Bob Arum, the legendary top-ranked promoter, has long been known for his bold and insightful takes on boxing's biggest matchups. As the mega fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez gains momentum, Arum has thrown his full support behind Crawford, believing that the former undisputed welterweight champion has what it takes.